Hi guys, welcome back, or if you are new here, this is your first class. My name is Lauren. I'm a yoga instructor, gonna carry you through a beginner's flow today. It's gonna be a quick, about 30 minutes to really get you into your body and your head, and it's very suitable for if you've done a few classes before but you're not quite comfortable going for intermediate or advanced, or if this is literally your first class. This is really nice, and it's nice to do an online class too because you don't have the pressure of being in class if you don't like that environment. And as well, I'm really going to break everything down, the poses, so you can start to learn the names of the poses and just get them in your body, build muscle memory if you want to continue your practice and progress with your technique. So yeah, it's definitely suitable for all. So do join, get your yoga mat, maybe a glass of water, and that's all you're going to need, in a nice comfortable space where you feel comfortable. So join me on the mat whenever you're ready. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to get started standing at the top of our mat, placing your feet about hip width apart, really comfortably on the mat. Just check your alignment, check in, starting from the bottom of your feet, really drawing up through the legs, tucking in that pelvis, slightly engaging the core, nothing too crazy or like not squeezing your core so that it's hard to breathe. Everything just slightly relaxed. Lifting up through your shoulders, really rolling your shoulders down your back and then long through the crown of the head, almost as if there's a small string just lifting you up and lengthening out the back of the neck. Just mindfully checking in with your posture before we get started. Once you're in a strong stance at the top of your mat, we'll begin to engage our breath. Close down our eyes and just place your palms forward so everything's facing forward. You're sending your energy out in front of you, out in the room that you're in, and gathering your focus inside. So sending it internally, using your breath, inhaling through the nose, sending that breath all the way down to the stomach, creating space through your whole body, and then exhaling slowly through the mouth. Repeat 2 or 3 deep breaths. On your next exhale, slowly blink open your eyes and bring your focus back into the present space that you're in. Loosen your knees, walk your legs, right then left. And then inhale as you slightly bend into your knees, sweep your arms down to come up, reaching them up overhead and lifting that gaze slightly. Bringing the hands together in prayer, sending them down in front of the chest, and then allowing your body to fold over, meeting in our forward fold. Relaxing everything down, releasing any tension in the head and the neck, clasping each elbows here and then just swaying side to side, feeling your lower back loosen out. Using your breath through every movement here as we move through the flow. And then exhale to release your hands, plant your palms on the mat, and then with a continuous generous bend in your knees, start to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae back to our beginning standing position. Finding yourself in standing position again, taking a nice big inhale, bring the hands down to come up overhead once again, and exhale, forward fold, sending the body forward, really bending into the knees. And as you exhale, your fingertips are going to meet your shins, allowing your upper body to lift halfway and creating a flat back in your spine, really reaching the crown of your head away, lengthening the spine, and then exhale, forward fold once more. Generously bend into your knees enough so that your hands can be planted on the mat, and then just lower your hips all the way to the mat. We're going to come into a seated position, so however it's comfortable for you to get into your seated position, and eventually we'll meet in that cross-legged pose. In your cross-legged position, you're going to find your palms of your hands to meet your knees, really lifting up through the spine here, lifting out of the hips, and then inhale, release the hands, sweep them up and overhead, coming into light spinal mobility, dropping your right hand down behind you, and then your left arm to come down in front of you, lifting up and out of the hips to reach over your gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale, bring your hands back up and over your head. And to repeat the other side, your right arm is going to drop in front, your left arm is going to come down behind you, and then as you inhale, reach out of the hips, and exhale, twist the spine, looking over that left shoulder. Inhale, bringing it back to center, reach your arms once more overhead. Then exhale, release them down, walk your fingertips out in front of you, not forcing anything, just feeling a nice light stretch in the hips here, releasing the head down, let the weight of the head fall to the mat. Using your breath to help you through this stretch, and then on your next exhale, Walk your fingertips back into your body, bringing you back to that seated position. Send your arms straight out in front of you and just begin to take light circles with the wrists. 2 or 3 in one direction and 2 or 3 in the other. Just creating nice mobility with the wrists. Stretching your left arm out long and then just pulling your fingertips back towards you with your right hand. And swapping over to the other, just stretching out those forearms. Exhale to release your hands down, back onto your knees if that's a comfortable position, and we'll move through some neck mobility and just some soft head rolls. Dropping your chin to your chest, rolling your right ear over to your right shoulder, and repeating it back, chin to chest, head forward, and then over to the left side. Continuing your half head rolls in your own time and in your own rhythm, whatever's comfortable for you. And then if it's in your mobility to complete a full head circle, either adding in a full head roll or continuing with half head rolls, whichever is most preferable to you in your practice. On your next one, bring your chin back to center, dropping your chin to your chest, interlacing your fingers behind your head and placing your hands on the back of your head without pushing any pressure, just allowing the weight of your hands to give that extra neck stretch. On your final exhale, release down your fingertips, lift your head back up, and then kick out your legs in front of you. We're going to swing them around to the side, bringing yourself onto an all fours tabletop position. Find your tabletop position in your own time. Your shoulders want to be slightly over your wrists, your knees in line with your hips, so everything's at somewhat of a 90-degree angle. Engaging your core, really lengthening through the crown of the head for a nice flat back. And we're going to slowly move through some cat-cow variations. So inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze and open the chest, really arching the back. And then exhale, move through the opposite movement. So you're going to lift the belly all the way up, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly to the mat, lifting your gaze. And exhale, pushing, lifting your spine all the way through to your back and curving that chin all the way into the chest. Moving through a couple of these in your own time. Using your inhale and exhale through each movement to create fluidity throughout the body, and even taking some circles with the body, whatever your body's asking for here. And then eventually coming back to a neutral spine, looking back over your left shoulder, coming through neutral and sending your gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale to come back to your neutral position in your tabletop. Exhale to peel off the left arm straight out in front of you, keeping a neutral spine. And then inhale to lift the right knee off and extend the right knee out behind you. I'm just going to hold this pose here, gently forming concentration. The option to keep your left hand down also, if you're working on your balance, is available. Gently replace your left hand down to the mat here, and then we're going to bend into our right knee, bring it all the way up into our chest, aiming to touch the nose, and then exhale, extend out long. Inhale again, bend your right knee into your nose, and then exhale, extend. And repeat this one more time, really using your core, curving everything in, creating space in the body. Exhale, extend the right leg out long, really extend to the toes. And then inhale to place it back down, coming back into your tabletop position. Inhale here to repeat on the other side. We're going to lift the right arm straight out in front of us, keeping that long neutral spine. And then exhale, lift the left leg and send it out long behind you. Really using your core here to focus on that balance, picking a point on your mat towards the top of your mat to keep your gaze and concentration that will help you with your balance. Exhale to place the right hand back down, repeating curving into the spine one more time. So left knee comes to nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale to curve. Use your core, bring the knee all the way up to the chest. Exhale, extend. And last time, bend into that knee, bring it all the way up to touch the nose, or as close as you can. And then exhale, extend out long. Inhale one last time to place the knee back to neutral through your tabletop position. Readjust yourself in a nice tabletop here. Before we tuck the toes, push the hips all the way back to the heels. And then from here, send the hips high to the sky for our downward dog. Holding this pose nicely in downward dog, readjusting wherever you need, stepping the feet out wide, taking a generous bend into the knees and using your breath, deepening the breath on every inhale and exhale, aiming to get your chest as close to your thighs as possible. Taking your time in downward dog here, moving through one final breath cycle, deeply inhaling. And on your exhale, send your gaze towards the top of your mat, bend your knees and take baby steps to make your way up there where we'll meet in forward fold. Generously bending into the knees. Inhale to sweep your arms up and overhead, bringing yourself to standing. And then above your head, join your hands together in prayer and gently lower them to sit in front of the chest center, taking a moment in mountain pose. Dropping your hands down to come up, lifting them once again over your head, and then reaching out of the hips for a slight back bend. Exhale, send your body forward for forward fold. Inhale and forward fold. Plant the palms on your mat, release the right leg back, stepping it back into our runner's lunge, and then gently dropping the back knee. Exhale to release the left leg back to meet the right. Drop your hips slightly so your body's in one line in more of a half push-up position. Tuck your elbows into your body and then slowly lower your chest to the mat with control. Hands are stacked underneath your shoulders, pushing out of your palms and slightly lifting your upper body, sending the chest forward for a baby cobra. Exhale, lower to release your chest to the mat. Inhale to tuck your toes, push back onto your heels so you're on your knees, and from there lift your hips all the way to the sky for that downward dog. Bend generously into your knees to step your left foot back up to the top of your mat in between your hands, and then to kick off your right foot, step it up to the top of your mat, meeting in that forward fold. Inhale to sweep your arms up and overhead, bringing yourself to a standing position, joining your hands together in prayer. Reaching for a slight back bend if you wish, and then exhale for a forward fold. Repeating this sun salutation now on the other side. Plant the palms, step the left foot back, come through your runner's lunge, open the chest forward, open the gaze, and then drop that left knee. Lift the right leg back and drop the knee back to meet it. Inhale to lower your chest all the way to the mat, tucking the elbows in tight to the body, and exhale to push up for your baby cobra. Engaging the glutes here to protect the lower back. And inhale, lower with control. Exhale to tuck the toes, push your hips up and back to your heels before eventually sending them high for your downward dog. Pedaling out the heels in downward dog, loosening out the body, and then sending your gaze to the top of your mat, stepping your right foot up in between the hands for your runner's lunge, and then exhale, left foot up to meet it. Releasing the hands here, bending generously into the knees, we're going to roll up to standing vertebrae by vertebrae, meeting once again in our mountain pose. Taking a moment here to check back in with your breath, check in with your posture, standing tall at the top of your mat, really lengthening through the crown of the head. And then inhale to sweep the arms up and overhead once again. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms to the mat. And then find your fingertips to meet your shins. Allow that to lift you halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Step the right foot back, come through that runner's lunge. And then step the left foot back. From here, we're going to take a moment in our plank. Really engage the core and the glutes. We're not here for long. Strong through the arms and the shoulders. Before exhaling and pushing the hips back up to downward dog, really using your breath as you inhale, sending it through the body, and then exhale, side out through the mouth. Ground into the left leg here to kick the right leg high to the sky, extend through the leg, bending into that knee, and exhale, bring the knee all the way up and into the chest to step it up in between the hands, coming into your runner's lunge. And then eventually we're going to pivot the back heel, dropping it down to meet the mat, engaging your inner thighs, strong gaze forward, and then sweep your arms up and overhead so your arms come in line with your ears. This will take you into your warrior one pose. So here you really want to fixate on having the front knee in as close to a 90-degree angle as possible. And then from there, exhale, sending your arms out either side of your body, rotating the back foot so it's parallel, the knife edge of your foot's parallel to the back of the mat, and that's your warrior two. Inhale from warrior two, allow the right knee to drop down, rest on the right thigh, and then sweep your left arm up and over head, creating a left side body stretch. Exhale back to warrior two here, strong through the arms, before windmilling your arms down to frame the front foot, dropping both knees, releasing the right knee back to meet the left, and then slowly lowering with control your chest all the way to the mat. Pushing up for your baby cobra, and then eventually pushing back onto your heels and sending your hips high for downward dog. Using your breath once again in downward dog before repeating this sequence on the other side. Left leg kicks high to the sky, then bending into your left knee, send it all the way up into the chest and step your foot up in between your hands for runner's lunge. Dropping the back heel down, pivoting to meet the mat, and then inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead once again, bringing yourself up to your warrior one. Checking in that your core is engaged. And then exhaling, sending your arms out by your sides, finding your warrior two position. Front knee over front ankle, strong in the stance. And then exhale, bring your left elbow down to meet your left thigh, sweeping your right arm up and over, really stretching through the body and sending that breath all the way down the right side body. Inhale to come back up to your warrior two, really strong gaze over that front arm. And then windmilling the arms down to frame the front foot. And then this time, drop the right knee down. Release the left leg back to meet the right. Send your knees as wide as the yoga mat and then push your hips all the way back onto your heels, taking a moment in child's pose. Check in with your breath, relax the neck muscles and the lower back muscles here. Moving through one full cycle of breath. Inhale, send it all the way through the body. And then exhale, push back up onto your wrists, come off your heels and readjust yourself into a tabletop position. On all fours here, your wrists are under the shoulders and your hips are in line with your knees. Moving through one round of cat-cow. Inhale to lift your gaze, drop your belly to the mat, and exhale, curve everything up. Push your shoulder blades away, curve your chin to your chest. And then inhale to come back through a neutral spine, finding your tabletop position. Exhale to lift the right leg off once again, really extend it out long behind you. And this time as you inhale to peel off the left arm, find your balance, and we're just going to further test that balance, coming into a bird dog position, bending the elbow and the knee in to meet each other underneath the stomach. Inhale as you extend, reaching leg and arm out. And then exhale, tucking everything, bending the knee in to touch the elbow. Extend everything and repeat this one last time. If you fall out of this, it's absolutely okay. We're just testing ourselves further. And then on your last one, meet back in tabletop. Readjust yourself to do so on the other side. Inhale to extend the left leg out behind you. Engage your core and peel off the right arm. Really stretch it out ahead of you. And then exhale, bend elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow comes to the knee. Really curving your spine to make space to bring that knee in. And then repeat one last time, using your breath for focus and concentration with that balance. And then exhale, release everything down, coming back into our tabletop position. Tuck your toes here, hover your knees 1 inch off the mat, using your breath, engaging your core, before pushing your hips high to the sky and coming back into that downward dog. Generously bending the knees here in downward dog. And then lifting your gaze to look to the top of your mat and then step up where we'll meet in a forward fold. Release any tension in your neck. before exhaling and peeling up to a standing position vertebrae by vertebrae. Readjusting yourself slowly and in your own time in mountain pose. And taking this moment here in mountain pose to check in with that posture, that your shoulders are nice and away from your ears, your core is engaged. Displaying your palms forward. Inhale to bend into the knees, sweep your arms up and overhead, bring them together in prayer. Lift out of the hips to reach for a slight back bend. And then exhale for that forward fold. Generously bending the knees as you fold down, planting the palms on the mat and then stepping both knees back, dropping them to the mat and then lowering your whole body all the way to the mat, pushing out of the palms, reaching your chest forward for baby cobra. And then exhale, bring your chest all the way to the mat, tuck your toes, push your hips back to your heels and send your hips high for a downward dog. Exhale here in your downward dog to send that gaze up to the top of the mat. This time step your right foot up and then kick your left foot off to meet it, meeting back in that forward fold at the top of our mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, and exhale for a forward fold. From our forward fold, plant our palms once again, step the right foot back, eventually drop the right knee, and then step the left foot back, lowering the hips, bringing the elbows in tight to the body, and with control lowering the chest all the way to the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders here to exhale, push up for your baby cobra, sending the heart forward, and exhale to release all the way down to the mat. Inhale to tuck the toes, either push up to a strong plank here to test that strength, or up onto those knees, pushing the hips back and high for downward dog. Inhale to kick the right leg high, bend into that knee, sweep it all the way up to the chest, step it up in between the hands, and then pivoting on that back foot, sweeping your arms up and overhead. Knowing this pose here, we're repeating our warrior one, engaging that core, sending the hips square and forward as much as we can, and then exhale, sending your arms out to the side for your warrior two. Bending into that front knee lower, slightly lower if you can, and then bending that right elbow to meet the right thigh. Inhaling, sweeping the left arm up and overhead. Creating circles with that left arm, so we're going to continue it around and down by the face, coming up and down around by the body, just to create some shoulder mobility there. Repeating circles once or twice more. On your next one, continue the arm just up and overhead, holding it by the ear, and then exhale, pushing yourself back off for your warrior two, before windmilling your arms down to frame that front foot once again, and then kicking the left knee up to meet the right. We'll meet at the top of our mat in that forward fold. Inhale to sweep the arms up and overhead. Hands come together in prayer, and then exhale, forward fold, generously bending into those knees. As you plant the palms, step the right foot back, and then step the left foot back to meet it, coming into our strong high plank, tucking in the core, engaging the glutes, using your breath here strong through the arms, and then on your next exhale, pushing the hips back for a downward dog, lowering the heels to the mat, stretching out the calves. Repeating on the other side now, grounding the right foot to the mat, swinging the left leg high for three-legged dog, bending into that left knee and sending it all the way up to the chest, and dropping that left foot onto the mat. Strong gaze forward. As you pivot your back heel, engage your core, lift your hands off to sweep your body up to that warrior one position. Really using your breath here, deepening each inhale, lowering slightly more into that front knee. And then exhale, sending your arms out either side of the body, readjusting that back foot to come into your warrior two. Slightly reaching forward here as your front elbow meets your left thigh. Left elbow to left thigh, and then exhale to sweep your upper arm over, coming parallel to your ear and just reaching for a nice side body stretch in the right side. Exhale then to continue your arm around like so on the other side, just creating circles with that arm for some shoulder mobility. Repeating this 2 or 3 more times. Finishing one final circle here, really opening into that shoulder. And allowing your arm to reach over the head one more time, creating that full body side stretch. And on your exhale, sweep your arms down to the mat, allowing them to frame the front foot, planting strongly into the mat, and then lifting your left foot back to meet the right, taking a moment in your plank, and then exhale to lower the knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale, push up for baby cobra. Exhale to release all the way down, tuck the toes, and then lift off and push your hips all the way back to your heels to take a moment in child's pose. Stretching your arms out in front of you and feeling that release in the lower back muscles. Using your breath throughout this pose to relax further down to the mat. And then on your next inhale, lift yourself off, walk your fingertips back into your body, and then just kick your heels out from underneath you and slide yourself forward on the mat, knees bent in front of you. Take hold of the backs of your thighs with your hands and just allow that to support you as you tuck your core in and roll down vertebrae by vertebrae to meet the mat. Slowly and in your own time, using your breath. And then exhale as you come down to the mat. Bring your knees into your chest and allow them, just hug them nicely and allow yourself to rock side to side, releasing those lower back muscles once again, closing down the eyes here if it's comfortable for you. Keeping your right knee nice and tucked into the chest, extend your left leg out long and then allow your right knee to fall over your left side body, coming into a slight spinal twist. Your gaze falls over the right side. And with every breath, allow yourself to twist further into that spine. Inhale, bring the knees back into the chest, hug them in for a moment, then swap to the other side so you're extending your right leg out long. Exhale as you let the left knee fall over to the right side, and then send your gaze over that left shoulder. Each exhale feeling a nice twist and release into that spine. One final breath cycle in this pose. Inhaling deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, bring the knees back into the center, hugging them into the chest, and falling over to any side of your choice that's most comfortable in a fetal position. Using your top arm to push yourself up to a seated position where we'll meet in the middle of our mat or wherever you are on your mat, in cross-legged or sitting on your knees, whichever is most comfortable. Bring your hands to meet your knees, roll your shoulders back, just check in with that posture. Take a moment, close your eyes and sit up nice and straight. Checking in with yourself here to see how your body feels, how your mind feels. From this position, we're going to bring our right hand down to sit beside us on the mat. Release the left arm up and over the right side, creating a side body stretch, really opening into those ribs and using the breath to create space in the body. Exhale, come back up through neutral. Plant the left hand down and sweep the right arm up and over on the other side. Really nice. Come back up through neutral for one final stretch. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, sending that gaze up. Joining the hands together in prayer and bringing them down to sit in front of the heart center, where we'll bow our head, say namaste to complete the practice, bringing the class to a final close. Take a few moments for yourself to meditate if you wish, or if not, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining.